welcome to the Pip and Pin Podcast. My name is Megan Nodecker, and I'm a knitting pattern designer from Abbotsford, British Columbia, Canada. You can find me on Instagram as Pip and Pin, on Ravelry as Knit Pip and Pin, and in our Ravelry group, Pip and Pin. Today is May the 8th, and it is episode 56. And today it is beautiful outside. It's gorgeous. It's going to be in the 20s. Today and tomorrow and the next day, and it was yesterday. It was lovely. Which means I did not keep track of George's homeschool. It's too nice outside. A couple days we did go outside and do, she's in kindergarten, so we went outside and did some of her worksheets and things like that, but she really doesn't have much to do anyways, so I don't know. We're just kind of enjoying the nice weather. We can catch up if we need to later. I'm not too worried about that. So beautiful, bright, sunny spring day. Cleaned off the patio the other day so we can sit out there. I had my coffee out there this morning. It's been great. But, do you really want to know about the weather? I don't know. I do. I always like knowing what the weather is where people are. I find it funny in some places, not in some places, but in conversation, people talk about, not having a great conversation because they're talking about the weather. Not in BC. In BC, if you're the weather is a real topic. And especially when I was working at Starbucks and would have, be talking to people all day, the weather was a topic. It wasn't just something you talked about. So that's why I do the weather update, because I like to know. I like to know what the weather's like where people are. Here it's beautiful and sunny. Georgia and I are going to go for a walk later. Anyways, you're not here for that. You're here for knitting and other stuff. And I have lots of that to share today. I feel like the past couple episodes, I haven't really had much to share. And not new things anyways. I was pretty monogamous with my knitting. And I was working on some secret things. So now I can share my secret things, and I cast on a bunch of stuff. And I worked on the stuff that I already had as well. So lots of knitting today. Let's talk about that. The first thing that I really want to share with you, I'm very excited about this, is we released a new pattern a few days ago. And it is the Sprocket hat. You may remember, if you've watched the podcast before, or if you follow my design work or follow me on Instagram, last fall I released a Sprocket sock pattern, and it was very well received. And so for the Indie Mini Sock Swap, which is an event that I do sometimes, not on a regular basis, I design a pattern for it as well. And so this is that pattern. This is the Sprocket hat. And now I would put it on for you, but I was very silly and put my hair up in a bun, and I'm not going to take it out. So this is the Sprocket hat. It was designed to be used with mini skeins or scrap yarn. It's these fun, super fun little stripes, and you use slip stitches to do the little details. So it looks very fancy. But it's not. You're not holding two yarns at the same time. It's not stranded color work. It is slip stitching. So you're only using one strand of yarn at a time. This is the adult small medium. And this is the one that fits my head. And it's just a little bit slouchy. Not too much. Because it's fingering weight, I didn't want the pom-pom to be weighed down too much by it. And I'm all for a good pom-pom. This is the child version, so this is George's. We had some debates about the color because I wanted them to coordinate, not match, but I wanted them to coordinate for the photos. I don't think she was entirely happy with my decisions. But we did concede that she does not want the brown pom-pom. But I put it on for the photos, and we are switching it to a bright pink one. So I think that will make her much happier with this hat. And then this was the first one that I did. This was supposed to be the child size, but my numbers weren't quite right yet. So this is the tiny baby one that I made. Just so cute. So that's just going in a bin for the next time I know someone with a teeny tiny baby. Yes, so this is a fingering weight hat. And if you are one of those people who believe that you don't need a fingering weight hat, you're wrong. Let me tell you why. Worsted weight hats, DK weight hats, they're great. They're awesome in the wintertime. They're fantastic. In BC here, it doesn't get too cold where I am, so most of the time, that's even too much for me, because I do overheat quite a bit anyways. So I really only wear worsted weight or DK weight hats in the winter. Fingering weight hats you can wear in the springtime and the fall, and so that's an extra like 4 months that you don't have to do your hair. I know people who live like in Alberta and things like that, they need their hats to keep you warm. I need my hats to help me out on the days that I don't want to do my hair. That is the reason I wear a hat. And so a fingering weight hat on a cool spring or fall day, I'm all about it. They're also really comfy. I don't know, there's something about a fingering weight hat that's just amazing. So this is available on Ravelry. This is the secret thing that I've been working on forever and ever and ever. Because I just couldn't knit one of them. I had to knit all three. There's actually 5 sizes. There's a larger size, and then there's one in between the baby and the child. So like a toddler size. Just remember, when I size my hat patterns, especially, I do use the terms like baby, toddler, child, blah, 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 blah. But I also put in the head circumference measurements, and that's what you should be going by. Don't necessarily just go by, like, if you're making a hat for a baby, make the baby size. If you're making a hat for a 1 or 2 year old, maybe go with the toddler size. But if at all possible, measure your head or measure the person you're making it for, and then you can make the actual size that they need. When you're measuring your head, all you do is measure right around here. So don't measure where you're going to wear your hat, but measure it just straight, kind of right here, across. And then if you look at the pictures of all this information's in the pattern as well, but that's just a good thing to remember, is go by your actual measurements, not by the name of the size. I think I'm wearing this one with 1 inch of negative ease. So it's just a touch of negative ease. So it makes it a little bit, just a tiny, tiny bit slouchy and awesome. I know you're thinking negative ease and slouchy. It works, trust me. It's just 1 inch, so it works. Yes, this is available on Ravelry right now. I have a discount available for the newly released pattern. If you use the code Sprocket, SPROCKET, I'll put it down below as well. You can get 20% off the pattern, and that's on Ravelry, so I'll make sure I put a link to everything down below so you can get that. I really hope that you enjoy it. Yeah, I was thinking about the Indie Mini Sock Swap. I just finished my spring round of it, and if you don't know what that is, basically you sign up for it and you send in a skein or 2 or 3 or however many you want of yarn that just a sock fingering weight yarn that maybe you're not so in love with anymore. You bought it or got it as a club or something like that. You didn't really like it. Send it to me. I wind it up into mini skeins, and then I make these sets and send them out to people. And I just finished this past round, and I like doing it. I do really like doing it. I find it so fun to like open up the packages and see what people sent, and find different color combinations. And I ask people what things that they like, so that I know I have a bit of an idea of what I could be sending them. But it's also really hard. It's not the winding of the yarn or making the sets that's really hard. What's hard about it for me is not really knowing or not having a cohesive color palette to make these sets from. So I'm getting yarn from so many different people that it's all across the board. There's tonals, there's solids, there's speckles, there's variegated, there's light colors and dark colors and bright colors and neon colors and like all these different things. So it is fun to put them together, but when you get to the last bits of stuff, some of them just don't go well together. And so that's really hard for me, is trying to make all the sets kind of work and match them up with people. And I'm really worried that like people don't like them. So I don't think I'm going to be doing it this way again. It's really fun. I know people really enjoy it. But that aspect of it is really hard for me, and it's hard for me to get over. So I don't think I'll be doing it again like that. I was toying around with some ideas though, and why I'm talking about this now is because I would love some opinions. What I was thinking is maybe doing something of a similar idea, having it a mystery mini skein event, except I would be curating the yarn. So I could go to different dyers. I was thinking of different Canadian dyers because I'm from Canada. And I thought that would be it would be a good way for me to narrow down indie dyers, that's for sure. Because there's so many Canadian ones that I love. And American ones and international as well. But if I just stick to Canadian dyers, then I'll have less options, which is good for me. Anyway, so I'm thinking that I would reach out to some of these dyers and like kind of put together mood boards and so that I could get not all the same yarns, but like just a similar feel or a similar tone. I know I got a lot of comments of like, oh, I really loved the ones that you shared on your Instagram. Half the people wanted the ones that I like, and not half the people sent in that yarn. You know what I mean? So it was really hard to match the people to the things. So if there's a maybe there'll be a couple options of like, here's 3 different mood boards, and you can choose which color scheme. But the colors themselves will be mysteries, something like that. Anyways, this won't be for a while. It was a thought that popped into my head, and I thought I would share it to see what your opinions are. Is that something you'd be interested in? Do you think that there's a different way that I could be doing it? Because I also was thinking of maybe putting a stipulation on the yarns that people could send me, but like I didn't like that idea very much because that's very limiting. So yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. If you have any opinions on it or have any ways that or something maybe you'd like to see with something like that, I think I'm still gonna include a pattern with it because that's really fun to design a pattern with mini skeins. And so all that kind of stuff is gonna stay, but maybe just not the sending of the yarn. We'll see. Anyways, yeah, so that's the Sprocket hat. That's my spiel about the sock swap, and now I just have a little knit along stuff, and then I will actually show you some knitting that I've been working on. So we just have one knit along running right now in our Ravelry group. I do, all of April I had the social distance knitting club, and that is still an active thread on Ravelry. So if you want to go and check that out, there are still lots of conversations. I'm not going to be shutting that down anytime soon, but it's not like an official thing anymore. Now it's just a conversation. Now it's just a fun thing. I do have one official knit along, and it's one that I'm doing with Sam of Hand Me My Knitting, and we are doing a City Limits knit along. So City Limits is a sweater by Tanis Lavallee. This is beautiful. I'll show you later. I have mine. Beautiful top-down raglan. You can do lots of fun things with colors, etc., etc. So we are having a City Limits knit along. It's going from now until June 8th. Whips are allowed, so if you're already halfway done your sweater, feel free to just join in. The chat thread is in the Hand Me My Knitting Ravelry group, and the finished object thread is in the Pip and Pin knitting group. So I'll make sure I put links to both of those down below. Go and check them out if you're working on it or have plans to work on it, need some inspiration. There's some really, really beautiful ones. Someone just made a big noise and I don't know which thing it was. Was it the cat? Was it the kid? I don't know. Anyways, I've talked about that knit along a lot, so I'm not going to go too much into it. I will show you my City Limits when I get to my works in progress. I do have one finished object, and this has a story to go with it. One night, George is an oldie child, and she's 6, and this whole social distancing, quarantine, pandemic thing has been really hard on her. She is a very social kid. And so just having me the majority of the time has been really tough on her. We got a cat now for a reason so that she could have a buddy. So the other night I was tucking her in and she said, "Mom, do you think that you could knit me a person so I won't be so lonely?" And my heart broke into 8,000 pieces. So I said, yes, of course. I will knit you a person because how could I say no? So on Saturday morning, I think it was kind of a cloudy, rainy, drizzly day. So we spent the morning picking out colors and a pattern to make her a person. So we made Ruby, and this is her. And this pattern is the Pretty Izzy doll. I wrote down the name of the pattern and then I just left the designer blank. I'll put her name down below and the link to the pattern. It is a free pattern on Ravelry, and it actually has a really great story as well. These are used for charities. You knit them and you send them to, you'll have to read about it, but they send them to somewhere who send supplies to hospitals and stuff, and they use the dolls to pad the packaging. And when they get to their destination, then they give the dolls to kids in the hospital. So it's a really cute pattern, very awesome story, and really easy to make. So George and I spent Saturday, she picked all the colors herself. She also went through my beads, and she picked out some beads for the eyes and the hair, and she picked out the hairstyle and the skirt style and all the different things. And she sat there with me. It took me a couple hours to make this on Saturday, and she pretty much just sat with me and we chatted and hung out while I was making this for her. So that was a really cool, that was a really awesome thing to do. And free pattern, and we just used scraps of DK worsted weight yarn, and it's really cute, and she sleeps with her, and yeah, it's her little friend until we can see friends again. Which in BC is actually quite soon. Things are relaxing a little bit here, so we're hopeful. We're getting through it. And now I will show you all of the whips that I've been working on because I got my knitting mojo back. And it's wonderful. I'm going to start with this. This is a project that's living in my, you've seen this thing a million times. This is my Finch bucket bag. I Stitch Mischief. Got it at Knit City a couple years ago. And it's probably my most used project bag out of anything. I've been talking about making one, but then I looked through my fabric and realized I don't have enough fabric to make one. And I don't really want to go and buy fabric because I don't know. I just don't want to. So I'm not. But I would, and one day I would like to get the pattern because she has the pattern for the bags as well and make myself one so that I can have two. Anyways, living in this bag is my Catbells Cardigan. And this is the companion to the Catbells sweater. That color is not doing what it's supposed to do. And let's see if this will work a little better. There we go. It's a companion to my Catbells sweater, which is a pattern I released last fall, and I just really wanted a cardigan version. So this is going to be a long cardigan with the same stitch pattern, just open front, you know, the style that I love so much. The coolest thing about this is because it's kind of like the base of the stitch pattern is garter, I just did a slip stitch edge along the front bands here. So there's not going to be any finishing that you have to do once this is done. Of course you'll have to do sleeves, and I'm thinking pockets maybe. But you won't have to like pick up along the button band or anything like that. So that's very exciting. I kind of lost steam on this a little bit, but it has come back. You can see I was super smart actually and put in a progress keeper from the last time that I showed you. So, I haven't put in a ton of work, but right now each round is taking a little longer. My hands don't particularly like woolen spun yarn. I love woolen spun yarn, but it takes me a really long time to knit with it. I don't know why exactly that is. That's just how it is. But now I'm in the section where I just have to knit until it's as long as I want to make it. So I think I'm gonna block it, see how long it actually is, and go from there, and then decide what to do for sleeves and everything. So that's a pattern that you should be expecting to see next fall or something, somewhere around there, probably September, August, somewhere. All right, now I have another one to show you. And I cast these on because I needed something to work on while going for walks, because George and I have been going on many, many, many walks and scooters and bike rides. And she dilly-dallies, which is fine. But I just needed a sock. I needed a sock project. So I started this one. These are my walking socks. They're just a 3x1 rib. I'm using self-striping yarn, and I am using Knit Picks Felici in steamer trunk. I don't know why I even brought this out. It's just a ball of yarn. It does this. This is much prettier to look at. And then for the heels and toes and cuffs, I'm using Knit Picks Stroll Tweed in the Wellies Heather color. I just did a Fish Lips Kiss heel because that's what I always do. 2x2 rib for the cuff because that's what I always do. And then a 3x1 rib for the rest of it. And well, 3x1 rib, they just fit really nicely. And the reason why I wanted to do a ribbed sock is because I have lots of socks. I did the sock bash last year, so I knit one pair of socks a month for 12 months straight. I have lots of socks. For somebody who, I really only wear socks for like 4 or 5 months out of the year. When I wear my boots, I wear socks. And that's it. I just don't wear them a lot, and I have too many. Long story short, I'm gonna start a box of gifts. That baby hat is gonna go in it. And I know I say this all the time, but I'm really serious this time. I'm pretty sure these are just going to be gifts for someone for Christmas, because people in my family really like hand knit socks. So instead of rushing at Christmas time to do them, I'm just going to start a box. I don't need any more socks, but I do really like knitting them. Like, they're my favorite thing to knit they're my favorite purse project. I don't have to think about them. I know exactly what I'm doing. It's great. And the only issue with these ones at the moment is I have one skein of this yarn. It was a gift from Sam, and I made the leg too long. So I'm not going to have enough to do both if I keep going if I just keep, because this isn't long enough for the foot. So if I just keep going with the stripes and then put the thing in, I'm not going to have enough to do the other sock. So I found this, which is just some scrap yarn. I think it's Ancient Arts. I think it's from my Lilium that I made. It's actually very fancy. I think it has silk in it or something. Similar enough, I think. I mean, it's a little more beigey, but I'm okay with that. I'd rather have just one kind of randomy stripe than a really long toe. I don't know. I think that looks a little funny. So that's what I'll do. I'll just do a little bit in this white-ish color and be done with it. And that's what I've been working on our walks and our adventures. The next thing I'm going to show you is my City Limit sweater. I did put a little bit of work into it since last time you saw it. So I will just quickly show you. I've shown it a couple times already because I really went hard on this sweater when I first started it. It slowed down a bit now because I found another project that I've been working like crazy on. But I have gotten quite a bit of work done on it. And so I think last time I had just finished up the body. So there's the body. And I finished a sleeve. Or no, I had almost finished the sleeve. So maybe I didn't actually do a lot in this last couple weeks. But I finished a sleeve and started my other one. So I just have about 3/4 of a sleeve to do and the collar, which is not going to take any time at all. I really like the colors. I really like how it's turning out. I think I'm going to wear it quite a bit because it's just one of those comfy, cozy sweater things. It is a sweater thing. I think I'm showing it this way because this is the way that you knit it. You knit it with the knit sides out, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to wear it flipped inside out. It's a reversible pattern, so you can kind of do either way. I just really love on the other side this detail here of the lines running down. The one thing that I noticed, I still don't know if I'm gonna have enough yarn to do things correctly, but I have noticed a complaint with this pattern. The pattern itself is really well written. It's easy to follow. It's a simple pattern. It's making a great sweater, and I'm very happy with the fit of it and everything. The only thing that I've heard complaints about is the yardage and how the yardage is explained in the pattern. So if you are thinking about starting this sweater, just be very careful because it doesn't go into a lot of detail on how to figure out your yardage if you are doing a marled one like I am, because the pattern is written for you can do it with worsted, or you can do it 2-fingering held double and do kind of the marling like that. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, the pattern right now gives you the yardage required for the worsted sweater, and then basically says if you're doing a fingering sweater, make sure you have double the yardage, which makes sense, except for the stripes aren't always going to work out that way because you're using more yarn with the middle sections and less yarn with the first color and the last color, you're going to be using more of certain colors than others. And I know in her version of the pattern, it was she used 5 colors and she was selling 5 color kits. And I'm making the size extra large. And I think I was watching the Grocery Girls and Tracy was making hers. And she said that 5 colors was just a little bit too, it wasn't enough. So she ended up doing shorter sleeves, which is still cute. But I need long sleeves in a sweater. And she recommended, if you are doing a larger size, to definitely get a 6 skein. Even with the 6 skein, I don't know if my colors, I think that's why I stalled on it, because I don't have the heart to get to the point where I might run out of yarn. I mean, it's not really a big deal, because worst case scenario, I do end up running out of yarn, and then I'll have to rip back the sleeve and make sure that they match. So it's fine, but I would rather, I don't want to know. I would rather not rip out one of my sleeves. It's done on US 8 needles, so they're pretty big. It goes fairly quickly. Not a big deal if I'm going to have to redo it. But if you are thinking of starting this sweater, just be aware of yardage. Because yeah, it is. I know Sam's making hers, and to make herself feel better, she's actually knitting the body and the sleeves all at the same time so that she knows how much yarn she's using for something that's supposed to be like, I always kind of get this way with scrappy projects too. It's like you think they're going to be so fun and just like da, 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 da. But then you start them and you're like, oh no, like what do I do if this happens, and what do I do if this happens? And there's so many variables. It's like, ugh, I should have just done it in one color. But no, not really, because I really love how it's starting out. So hopefully I'll be able to get that done maybe this week. We'll see. We'll see if I can stop myself from knitting on my next project. And I kind of shared this last time, but I hadn't started it yet. This is a kit that I got from We Are Knitters, and it is the sun cardigan, and you can't really see it. We go. So a oversized cardigan, and it's actually with kind of giant sleeves. And it's made with cotton. So they had reached out to me and asked if I would like to try out one of their kits. And I said yes. And this is the one that I picked. And so the yarn is We Are Knitters the cotton. And I chose the dark copper colorway, which is this beautiful, like it's actually just the perfect color. It's a mix of red and orange, so it's neither. And it's very, very coppery and dark and beautiful. And I just about made the mistake of choosing like a light summery color. No, just pick the right colors for you. This is my perfect color. You may love to wear bright sunny colors. But I always think that I want to wear that in the summertime, and then I never do. So I should just know by now to stick to my color palette. And this is what I've been working on a lot. It's done in pieces. So this is the back. It's the bottom there. It just goes up. It's really simple construction, which is nice because I don't have to think about it. The little bits of lace are super easy to memorize. The yarn is really nice to work with. I haven't knit a ton with cotton, but this is definitely different than like Bernat kitchen cotton. It's not the same thing. It's lovely and drapey. It's Pima cotton. And then this is one of the fronts that I kind of just started. And they do include needles, like the kits that you get. Unfortunately, you can't buy the patterns. I didn't know this before, but you can't buy the patterns by themselves. You do have to buy them in the kit. But the yarn and pattern go together so well that like I would say just do it. If you really want the cardigan, the yarn is beautiful and it's worth it. It comes with everything that you need to. It comes with the pattern, the yarn, needles, darning needles, stickers, has a little patch that you can sew in the back, which is really fun. And I just really want this on my body, which is why I've been working on it so much. There are many other things that I could be doing, but this is all I want to knit. And right now I'm definitely giving myself permission to kind of just do what makes me happy, which I feel like a lot of us are. And I feel like a lot of knitters right now are drawn towards projects that are not super complicated. I know I just want something that I can watch TV and do or read and do, and this is definitely something like that, which is great. I think I'm going to change, like this is done in pieces and seamed, which is something that I've never done before. But I think because of the cotton, it will help hold its structure so it won't stretch out so much. So I did decide to do it in pieces, like it said. I think the only thing I'm going to change is the sleeves. I'm pretty sure I'm going to knit them in the round. And I'm also pretty sure, because I think you do them because you knit the bottom up for the body, and then I'm pretty sure you knit from the cuff up for the sleeve, and then you seam it together. I'm really scared of that, that seam here. So I think I'm going to do the body pieces, seam those together, and then pick up stitches around the armhole and knit down. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm also gonna size down the sleeves. Just looking at some of the projects, I noticed that for the extra large, the sleeves were giant. And I am all about, like, the reason I wanted this cardigan is because of the like kind of balloony sleeves, but these ones are just like, they'd probably be here. And I think that's too much. Like the cardigan is already kind of oversized. I think I can go down to a large, maybe even a medium. I'll have to take a look at the schematics and decide later, but like my arms aren't that big. So even if I just did like this, like if I had it like this and then straight all the way down and then the cuff, like is kind of what they have in the pattern, then I think that would be good. So I'll have to do that'll be easy enough to figure out how to switch the size of the sleeves. But I think that's the only alteration I'm gonna make is, well, doing the sleeves in the round. But then if I do the sleeves in the round, will they stretch out longer? Too long? Should I seam the sleeve? Like, should I maybe pick up stitches and then work it back and forth? And then seam down? I don't know. People that work with cotton and seam sweaters, tell me what to do. I might listen to you. I might not. Oh yeah, those are all the things that I've been working on. Five things I showed you today, which is a lot compared to previous episodes. So there you go. There's your fill. I don't think I have any plans to cast on anything else in the near future. I'd like to finish up my city limits. If I finish those socks, I guess I'll cast on another pair of socks. I'd like to get going on this one so that I can start getting the pattern ready. But in all honesty, I'm probably going to finish this one because the weather's nice and I want to wear it. And I want to wear it this summer and I want to wear it in the time that I can wear it. I want it. I want it now. This is definitely a product knit for me, which means it will probably get done first. No, my city limits will get done first and then this will be done. Catbells will probably wait a little while. Anyways, that's it for knitting. I have not really much else to say. So if you want to stop now. Thank you for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed this, and you can always subscribe to our channel, and you can hit the little bell to be notified of new episodes. I usually try to podcast once a week. Last week didn't happen because the world was imploding and I just didn't want to. I feel like it comes in waves, like there'll be some days where I'm just like, yes, I really got this. Everything is great. I am, super mom. I'm working and doing school and doing this stuff. And we went for a walk and cooking the dinners and cleaning the house and everything is just amazing. That lasts like a day. And then it's all implodes. And then, comes back and forth. So on Friday was the day that I was going to film last week. Was one of the implodey days. So it's like, no, I'm just not gonna push myself to do too much right now. But here in BC, I don't know, I know things are super different everywhere, and I hope that you are all doing well with this pandemic that we are all going through. We're still doing good. We're still chugging along. Aside from the roller coaster of, but that's just part of it right now, I think. You just have to be easy on yourself. But here in BC, they are starting to ease things a little bit. So what that means for me personally is we are allowed to, how do they phrase it? Expand the bubble. So we can expand our bubbles a little bit. So it's not just Georgia, Justin, and I. You can see a couple other people, which is really nice. We're gonna go to Justin's parents' house to see them because it's gonna be super nice this weekend. So we're gonna go spend the day in their backyard and let Georgia run around like a maniac. It's gonna be lovely. There was also some talk about school maybe in June. I'm not counting on anything. If it happens, great. I know some people are, and that it would be totally optional, because I know a lot of people are like, no, I don't want to mess up schedules. Like, we're in our routine, we're doing our thing, or they're nervous about things, which absolutely fair enough. I think it is going to be optional here. And I'm pretty sure if they do open the school up again, Georgia will be going. I'm not worried about her academically, but I'm not worried about her, but I know that the social aspect of things is affecting her a lot. So I feel like that is kind of the most important thing. And if we can get that would be fantastic. Yeah, that would be great. And that's it. On that note, we're done. Oh, Fred! I was going to talk about Fred. So you all met Fred the last episode. He's our cat. I tried to lure him with some treats. Because usually he's sitting right here. That's his favorite spot to be. But now I think he's found somewhere else. And so I tried to lure him with some treats, and I put them up here. But he ate them and then ran away. So you don't get to see Fred today. But he is, he's the cat that we adopted a couple weeks ago. And he is fitting in amazingly. I don't think we could have got a better cat. I've been wanting a cat for a really long time. And Justin, it has not been against it, but we live in an apartment right now. And he just really didn't want to take an outdoor cat and make it an indoor cat. So he's always been like, okay, well, when we move, you can absolutely get a cat for sure. But now with this whole thing, we kind of sped that along. And I found a cat from a rescue that was an indoor cat. It's always been an indoor cat. And there was just no reason he could say no. There was absolutely no reason he could say no. I found the perfect cat, and he's just great. He's a little neurotic when we leave, so I don't know if like maybe he was left. We're thinking it was one or two things. Either he was living with somebody who never left ever, or there was a large family and was just always people around, or he was left too often or for too long, because he seems pretty social, and he gets anxious when we leave. Like the other day we were all getting ready to go out, and he can tell when we're getting ready, and he just went to the front door and sat in front of the door, and like so that you couldn't open it without moving him, and looked really sad. Like he just did not want us to leave, and he wanted to put himself right there so that we couldn't go. And then he'll just wait for us to come home. He's like a dog. He'll just sit on, we have this little bench, and then we put a little blanket there for him, so he'll just sit on the blanket, and we're assuming, I mean, that's just where he always is when we come home. And he's always very happy when we come home. So there's that. Hopefully he'll get used to, I mean, I work from home, so it's not like he'll be left for hours and hours and hours, or days, or like maybe he was left for a weekend, and which with some cats you can totally do. And I know with my old cat, honestly, you would leave the toilet seat up because she would only drink from a running tap or the toilet. Give her 3 bowls of food, and she was totally fine. She could not care less whether you were here or not. And I think Fred's going to be a little different, but that's fine. He's been great. He's been, he's just not aggressive at all. He sits on my lap, and he actually laid on Georgia this morning, which is the first time that he like sat on her. So she was very excited about it. I think I posted a picture in my Instagram stories of it. She was very, very happy that Fred decided to sit on her. And I think that's it. I think that's all I really wanted to talk about. We really haven't been doing too much around here aside from going on many, many walks. And that's about it. So I hope you're all doing well. Times are tough. And it's nice to see a little peak of light at the end of the tunnel. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you back next week. We'll see you later. Bye.